Franchise interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews. Welcome to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 14 years now, we've been asking the Franchipreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. Well, we're meeting with veteran and entrepreneur Jason Bimber of Surveillance Secure. And founded in 2006 and franchising since 2019, Surveillance Secure has been a proven security industry leader, serving commercial clients in 6 states. So we're going to talk to Jason about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we have a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Hi, this is Connie McDermott, Administrative Assistant for Franchise Interviews, LLC, and you're listening to Franchise Interviews.
Franchise Interviews. From Easton, Pennsylvania to Sydney, Australia, you're listening to Franchise Interviews. Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 14 years now, we've been asking the Franchipreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. Well, we're meeting with veteran and entrepreneur Jason Bimber of Surveillance Secure. And founded in 2006 and franchising since 2019, Surveillance Secure has a proven security industry leader, serving commercial clients in 6 states. Hi, Jason. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hey, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jason. It's great to have you on the show today. We'll like to ask our guests, where are you calling from this morning, Jason?
I'm calling from my office, Surveillance Secure Phoenix.
Fantastic. Phoenix is beautiful. And, you know, it's interesting. I didn't realize, Surveillance Secure has a pretty long history, doesn't it, Jason? Maybe you can kind of go back to the beginning and talk about it, because we mentioned in the introduction, 2006. This was a pretty long time, isn't it?
Yeah, they started in 2006, and then they built the trusted brand and decided it was a good idea to start franchising in 2019. So that's what happens when you got the trusted brand.
Right, exactly. No, and that's fantastic. It's great to see, Jason, that, you've had this, long history, and you didn't franchise right away, some franchises do that, they get after a couple of years and they say, okay, we can franchise this thing. But, Surveillance Secure has been doing this for quite some time. So I think that's fantastic. Maybe you can describe, if you were at a franchise show, Jason, how do you typically describe Surveillance Secure to, let's say, a prospective franchisee? Because I know you actually have a lot of interesting services that you provide, don't you?
Yep. Yeah, we do. So Surveillance Secure is an electronic security systems partner. So what we do is we provide system designs. We find out our clients' needs, and we offer not only surveillance cameras, but access control, video analytics, cloud management, and monitoring. So
right. That's great. The video analytics, I find that interesting, Jason, because I always wonder, because I don't know a lot about, your industry, but I mean, you always say, like, how did they do it in the old days? I mean, I guess they must have went back and just watched video for hours, right? I mean, but then, hey, it just seems like it's so advanced, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We have, there's a lot of systems in place where you can actually speed up, so you're not paying a security person to sit there and watch, or a property manager who has lots of other things they need to take care of. Nobody really has time to sit there and watch through recording. So we have systems in place to where it shortens. You can put in certain keywords. You can put in red truck through a certain area, and it speeds up that process.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, that technology, I find that technology amazing, Jason. And, what's interesting, too, is I know that, when you talk about your franchise, you emphasize that you are B2B. You're in the commercial industry. Why B2B, Jason? I'm sure you get the question, some people might say, well, why not go residential? But what are some of the benefits of B2B?
It's just such a huge industry that
there's a lot involved. And that's what I always think of, Jason, too, is, I imagine if you get sometimes, I mean, if you're working on one particular facility, and you know this, that a lot of times, if you have your headquarters and then you have, satellite offices in different states, I'm sure that could lead to those other facilities, couldn't it? I mean, if you had did a subway headquarters, I mean, then you have all these other subways. I mean, it could lead to those things as well. So, I mean, this is probably a nice perk of commercial. That's great. What about the industry, Jason? One of the questions we like to ask when we have guests on the show is, we talk about the industry. I don't know the exact numbers. I imagine, you're a pretty huge industry, but I think probably even more important is it seems like there's more growth in this industry, isn't there? Yeah,
I was looking at some things before we started the franchise, and it's electronic security is over $100 billion industry. I saw some numbers from the past decade going from, I think it was somewhere around 40 billion to 80 billion over just a few years. So it's just, it's definitely.
And it's grown too, hasn't it, Jason? I guess I don't know if the theme of the show last year seemed to be, COVID kept coming up. I don't know. I guess I imagine COVID has had some type of impact on your business. I don't want to say it was a positive impact, but, I've seen numbers even in this industry, what's the 7% growth, 8% growth. I mean, it's pretty significant. That's a pretty big number, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a lot of stuff we do can be touchless. So a lot of people, because of COVID, or a lot of clients are going to that.
That's terrific. When the majority of our listeners, Jason, we call them aspiring franchipreneurs. I mean, most of them, they know they want to get into franchising. What types of characteristics do you look for in your franchisees? It sounds like you don't really have to have the experience in your industry. You don't have to be an IT person to become a surveillance secure franchisee, do you?
Nope, you don't. You actually, the training that you get is really good. They go over how the business operates and the brand, and then you hire technicians and IT, and the franchise headquarters is definitely really supportive of that, especially the IT when you're going.
That's fantastic. What about the training, Jason? I mean, I'm sure maybe the training has changed a little bit. I'm talking like maybe pre-COVID or post-COVID. But what was the training like in the past, presently, and what will it be in the future?
It's definitely evolving all the time, and it's just based off of our clients' needs. So when you start the franchise, there's a discovery day where you just get the basic understanding of it and see if it's the right fit for you. And then you get 1 week of training. You get 1 week of training where it's, again, more of the basic overview. You're just seeing the system, the product, and how we're serving our clients. And then you get another week, and they're really flexible with that. When you get going, they're not rushing you to open up and get going. They just make sure the training's all there. And then again, it's just, it doesn't end there. There's always learning, there's always evolving, and they're there to help.
That's great. I think that's probably what keeps things interesting in your industry, Jason, is that, because of technology, it keeps evolving. Maybe you could describe, if there is such a thing as a typical day for surveillance secure franchisee, Jason. I imagine, because you deal with so many different types of clients, don't you? I mean, whether it's education or religious institutions. So I'm sure there's a variety every single day, but there must be some similarities every day. So how would you describe a typical day?
My typical day is checking emails, because to me, my clients are the most important thing. They're the ones that drive the business and the relationships you build with them.
Right.
And that just really helps down the road. You start off with those clients and you show them that you actually care, and you show them the professionalism and the quick responses, and then it's a snowball effect from there. They pass referrals, and it's it's taking care of emails, looking at potential clients, leads come in. The marketing is really good with Surveillance Secure. So getting the leads and just seeing what the clients need and helping them, and talking to your techs, talking to your team, everybody you have, IT, just always learning, just to better the business. Yeah. Do
you need a background? Does it help to have a background in sales, Jason? I mean, when you are a Surveillance Secure franchisee, I mean, does that help a bit?
It can, it depends on how much you want to get into it. That's why I like Surveillance Secure as well, because you can go out and do the sales. You can learn. I mean, you should have techs and IT, but if you have a background in any of those areas, it'll help if that's what you want. But as the franchise owner, you can put people in those places and learn from them as well.
That's great. I was researching, your background before the show, Jason, and we talked a little bit about, your background, being, a veteran, and you're certainly an entrepreneur. From everything you've learned up to this point in your life, I mean, what advice would you give to our listeners in their quest to buy a franchise? Because, there's so much out there today. I think they say there's like 3,500 different systems to choose from. So, many of our listeners in the early phases are confused. They're like, okay, where do I begin? What advice would you give to our listeners from everything you've learned up to this point?
I would say just go do what you want, chase your dreams, go after it. Don't get analysis by paralysis. Just Surveillance Secure really helps. They help you get going. They'll any questions you have, they have all the support you could ask for and then some. So, I would say just do it.
Right, like the Nike slogan, which is great. If we could, talk a little bit about the future, Jason. I mean, if we're looking to a crystal ball, I mean, where do you see Surveillance Secure? I mean, maybe 3 years down the road, or even 5 years down the road.
I see a lot of. I already know quite a few potential franchise owners that are looking into it. We've already had a handful signed just within the past week. So now that the name is out there, and it's not just on the Baltimore East Coast area, it's Colorado, Arizona, and it's definitely see a lot of growth, rapid growth, and a big reason is people see new franchise owners coming on. They see the potential for the growth. They see the model that they create.
I mean, it's such a big market, isn't it, Jason? I mean, when we're talking B2B, you know what I mean? It's just like, you think of all the buildings out there, churches, the hospitals, education. I mean, it's not a small market, is it?
No, we're pretty much a technology company. Much just the amount of things we offer. So
that's fantastic. What's the best way, Jason, for our listeners to get more information on Surveillance Secure? I mean, are there any websites you can kind of direct them to, or any phone numbers that they could call for more information on the service and, of course, the franchise opportunity as well?
Yep. Yeah, they can go to surveillancesecure.com, surveillancesecure.com, and then they can also call 877-388-1248. And another good thing about Surveillance Secure is they will put you in contact with other franchise owners that you can get their side of the story, to get advice from them. And all the franchise owners are really, really helpful to talk to. So.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Well, it was great to have you on the show today, Jason, and I'd like to invite you back over the next year or two as you continue to grow, because I think this is a wonderful franchise opportunity.
Sounds good. Yeah, I look forward to it, and I appreciate you having me.
This has been my pleasure, Jason, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.